Yes, I mean I think it's going to be an exciting summer. As painful as all this looks, I think we're over the worst part of it. I mean, we're not in lockdowns anymore. We're not we don't see these controlling mechanisms on every level. He's trying to take control and pushing their weight around, bothering and hurting tax-paying citizens. And speaking of taxpayer, stop paying your taxes. I'm just really upset with the Canadian system. I love this country. I love everything about it. And I suppose if I, moved out into the bush, completely off grid, I wouldn't, see her, um, but I've done years and years of that anyways already. For my old bones, I need somewhere warm constantly. I don't like winters. I don't do snow very well anymore. I drove too many years in the snow, going from the East Kootenays over the mountains, over the Rocky Mountains through Banff, whether it be the lower side or the lower half or the upper half, going through the parks through Banff into Calgary, 24/7, 12 months out of the year. And I did years and years of it. And I'm just, that's enough for me. Will Canada be part of the U.S.? Absolutely. It already is. There's all kinds of comms or little indications out there that it's already done. And I think that whole thing was put to bed. There was an original map. It goes back to 1942, which included Greenland, Canada, United States, and Mexico, and whatever else. And of course, these crazy lefts, these lefties, do not see the importance of bringing. They think that Trump is a warmongering, narcissistic that wants to gobble up all the land in the world. They just take it to another stupid level. They do not see the importance. They'll never attack China for trying to take land in Mongolia, or trying to take land in Taiwan, or trying to take land in in the days. I mean, moving north and stuff like that, or going into Africa, trying to take land there and all the natural resources by buying out their natural resources in the Congo or in Africa, and giving it to all the buying the land from off the local farmers there, so they can start trenching down and going after their gold, silver, diamonds, whatever they've been doing. They've been doing this shit forever, and Panama Canal was going to be taken over. Trump stopped all that bullshit, and now they're attacking Trump. I mean, come on, give your head a shake. They seem to want. They do not want anything good to come to the United States. And if the United States falls, the world falls. And we all know that. And I'm glad we got over that. That celebration last night was extremely important to send the message out that we won. Take that and put that in your bag of tricks. That's where this thing is going. And then from there, that beacon of light, which is called the United States Republic, is going to shine brighter and brighter and brighter. Okay? Because now they have allowed, with the consent by all the people last night, that were allowing, and it goes back to May 14th or 15th when they did the ceremony and the session, bringing Jesus Christ back in. They're going to do a statue of Jesus Christ, and lots of good things are going to come out of that. They're bringing Christianity back into the United States, and we're winning. And all these demonic little minions and demons out there, you better get on your little brooms and, fire those brooms up and take off, because it's not going to be pleasant for you around here. God bless. Yes, God bless America. And because America's the one, with the administration and people like Rubio and Hegseth and all the other, patriots that are behind the scenes, are not going to just liberate the United States. They're going to liberate every country on the planet. So look forward to it. It's not going to take long to bring down these, they already know who they are. So they just have to go in there and do it. But, Trump has to do this by the law of the land. This is common law that is being worked upon. And you're not going to break the law until you start hurting people. That's how this goes. You start hurting people, you're allowed to do just about anything you want to do as a free sovereign. But you start hurting people, that's when you break the law. And that was when the military will come in and take care of your sorry ass. Yes, come to Greece. I would love to. I hear the food there is absolutely to die for. I'd love to have some of those beautiful organic dishes that you have there. Yeah, I'm a bit of a foodie. But it's not like I'm not a glutton. I'm just a foodie. I just enjoy really nice flavors. Yeah. That's why I'm in the Philippines. Yeah. I do all the cooking there because I watch and I learn. So I enjoy cooking. And when I get there, I have to, I'm actually rebuilding my kitchen. So I have a big open area with the burner thing and the cook's thing right in the center. And then all my things are going to be there. It's going to be much safer and much easier to work with because, you can have electric there, but power is getting so expensive in the Philippines. And I think that's all going to come to an end too. That's what's keeping everybody very, very poor is the power. And Meralco are demons. They are, foreigners will come in there and say, yeah, you're not allowed to own any land. That's true. But foreigners are allowed to own a condo. Okay. And you can have a condo if you want to come in there and, whatever, and own a condo. You're allowed to own a condo as a foreigner. But the problem is with these condos, you got the lighting thing going on or whatever. And of course you have your power bill inside that condo or whatever it may be, or apartment or high rise, whatever it is. They're paying up to 12,000 pesos a month, which it might not seem like a lot, but that's like $150 Canadian every month. I know that Canada's a lot more. It's like 2-3 times as much, especially in the wintertime. But for the Filipino, that's backbreaking. So, we use propane, I guess, for our cooking and stuff like that instead of electric. But they got normal fridges and everything else. Everything's on 220. Younger, we used to have 4 seasons, and now we only have 2, winter and summer. No kidding, eh? Isn't that the truth? I think all that's going to change. I really do. All the weather manipulation, it should be tropical everywhere. Yes, it should be. And it will be. Everything's going to go back. You're going to see all the deserts that were basically terraformed by the DS, by the cabal. The Chinese are going back in there because, they have huge portions of, the Gobi Desert is huge inside China. And they're actually coming in with all their green solutions, and eating away at it. So it becomes very green again. And once they get the trees and everything planted, of course, it's going to, in habitation, and people are going to be able to start living and growing and planting. And I think, I've been to China, and China's absolutely it's very, very beautiful there. They've got everything so manicured there. You can go up into the central Chinese, and the people are, it's like walking into a different world, right? They just have different ideologies, as far as their ways of doing things. And I don't condemn it. I think it's very, very cool, but it's something that everybody should experience. Yeah. No. Why do they hate him so much? Because he's a disruptor. Trump is, he's changing the world, and he's bringing liberty back to humanity. He's taken the shackles off, and the armies of brain deads, leftist crazies, have all been brainwashed, and that goes for all generations, have been consumed and made their decision through the manipulation of the Mockingbird media, which I can't, for life of me, still can't understand why that's not being brought down. But I guess what they needed to do was, keep that Mockingbird media going to find out who the weak-minded ones were and who the critical thinkers were. And I think they've got that pretty much figured out. So you're going to start seeing, I do know that the Mockingbird media on all these three-letter stations are now under the control of the alliance. I mean, you can see the whole thing if you watch, what we, patriots had to go through from, coming, awakening back in 2015, and I knew something was fishy at 9/11 as a structural engineer in Japan. I said, this doesn't even make sense. And I started, on those days, we were doing either fax machines or on our hotel phones with each other. And we couldn't make hide your tails out of it. And then, of course, we watching CNN absolutely blatantly lie at us. So I knew right there, shit was going down, and something wasn't right. And that's where I first seen Trump. I heard Trump will be the last president. Yes, that's true. I think there's going to be kingdoms. A lot of stuff that has been recovered from under the Vatican. The legitimate king and queen handed power to the U.S. DT during their visit. You're talking about the British monarchy? Yeah, they're all gone. Anybody to do with any of that stuff is all gone. Yeah. They're bringing down the powers, the banking. British banking sector and the power that they had over different countries for decades, if not hundreds of years, it's all coming to an end. Yeah. They're going to be dealt with. There's all kinds of indications right now. The bankers are saying that the dollar's going to crash, and that means when they say the dollar, that means all the dollars. That if the United States U.S. greenback goes down the toilet, so does the Canadian, okay? And then from the Canadian, it'll be the Australian and whatever other commonwealth that is out there that has the dollar, including Hong Kong dollar, okay? All of it is crashing. And they're going to be replacing those dollars because of all the corruption and the bags and bags of money from the syndicates and other mafia groups that are trying to hide all this. I'm sure they're pretty smart and they're going out there and buying their silver. But the thing is, everything's being tracked, and eventually, when you have such a huge revaluation of worldwide currencies, such as what we're experiencing right now, it will take time. But this is the direction that we're going into. Trump isn't going to stop. Whether it be Trump 1, Trump 2, Trump 3, 4, 5, 6. He's a brand. And the Trump brand will not stop. And like I said yesterday, and I've been saying this for a couple of weeks now, is let's watch where the puck goes. Let's not try to chase anything. Let's watch where we think it's going. Right? Yes, med beds are going to be in the hospitals, I believe. That's the only place they can put them. They got the facilities for it. I'm not sure. I'm going to put these data centers on hold. There's a lot of negative stuff coming out of it. There's, but I think there's going to be a stop to that. Whatever is going on right now, I think there's going to be a stop of it. They're throwing out as much negative out there as there is positive out there. And I'm just trying to keep everybody on the positive side of things on what's happening. This is a mixed bag of tricks that's happening right now in this world. And, we made a great, big, huge victory, no matter what the crazy left say and how, deranged they are. That was a great, positive, thing that happened, celebration that happened yesterday, UFC. Sent the message around the world that, yes, we got control of the United States and we are going back to common. What about the real Trump? No. The real Trump could be, people say that he was killed back in 87. Other people say he's in Cheyenne Mountain. Other people, and we have to wait and see. But no matter what, the show must go on, right? This is not a Trump operation. This is a military operation that's happening. And we have to recognize that. And, we have to stay in the audience and not get involved in the movie, because it'll rip you apart emotionally. This is to wake up the sleepers. Whatever you're seeing right now is to wake up the sleepers and drive the crazy lefts even crazier. Do you feel things are happening starting June? Yes, they already started yesterday, Don. They already started yesterday with the celebration. And then we got 4th of July coming up. There's going to be lots of interesting stuff being taken down. If Trump is a brand, is he alive or an actor? Well, Trump, there's about 6 Trumps, okay? And I don't think the real Trump is out there unless he's with Melania. Then he'll come out and they'll do some very secure appearance with Melania Trump. So you're mostly seeing actors right now out there. Okay? I mean, yeah. True republic under military power. Yes. The military is protecting the people. Okay? They're protecting the people. And once they get the republic back, it will be in full control of what's going on inside the United States Republic. The power will be given back to the people. Okay? I believe that there won't be, there might be kings and queens, I don't know, but there will be no more political powers such as Democrats, Republicans, because that's just a goddamn shit show. There won't be no more liberals or conservatives or NDPs in Canada. There won't be no more Labour parties in England. It's all a shit show. I mean, we have absolute, crackheads running the show in control because they're being inserted by these banking systems that have, loads and loads and loads of your money, manipulating the political climate. They're the manipulators. Yes, the true republic under the military power. It's not military power, it's military control. They're watching and protecting the Constitution, okay? They're bringing it back, and Trump, the brand, is bringing it back and letting it drip feed to the nation to say that we are a republic again. He's also saying central casting. This is a show because it's already been handled. Case in point, Canada, Greenland, all the other countries that are around Canada, we are all part of the Americas, of the Western Kingdom. That's been done long time ago, and the drip feeding, is out there right now to try to slowly, change the frequency of the way people think. It's, and we're waking up very, very fast. It's, the Schumann resonance is all lit up, right? So it's good. Well, we don't know. I mean, these are claims that, Trump was killed in the helicopter crash in 1989. Until we see proof and whatever actual events, it's the same thing with the Bible. I mean, yes, you can listen to, King John's Bible or all the different stories that are in it, but is it accurate? Is, what did they steal out of the original scrolls? And, what did they steal and then they end up hiding it under the Vatican? I want to go back and see the original. we know that, Jesus Christ walked this land. We know that he's the Son of God. That's all been, that's all factual events. But it's what was written has been probably manipulated. Now, I'm not saying all of it. I'm just saying I'm putting it on the shelf. I'm staying close to my Creator until the real true facts come out. Right? And my daughter, maybe that's why she's not talking to me right now about, with my position on what's happening. But, she's 25 years old, beautiful kid, and she's, she reads the Bible like it's, and that's fine. She's in New Cairo in Egypt, many, many Christians that are there, the Christians and Muslims live together just like they do in Turkey. Half are Christians and half are Muslims, and they all live in lockstep together, right? The military were the ones who created the MN. Well, are they? You're talking about, we have to start dissecting this stuff. It wasn't, you can't say military and then put all the apples in one barrel. It could have been the military industrial complex that maybe dealt with it. There's, before Trump took hold of things, there was 2 or 3 militaries, the black hats, the white hats, and the red hats. I'm just saying, everybody had their own belief, and, it's just the way it is. The 51st state common law will come back again. Yes, it will. It's already here. We just haven't got it out there. How you doing, Houston? Welcome. Yes. I've heard Melania is really the Princess Diana. I think Melania is the Queen of Russia, and she's related to Putin. I think that's all part of the family that's over there. And I think the United States and Russia are working very close together, and along with Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping is anti-communist, and he's taken down, I believe, every country's got its demons. Take a look at the United States. How many rotten apples there are there? But the guiding light of Christ conscious people are overtaking it. Same as what's in Canada. But Canada's slow. Very, very slow. There's a lot of schooling that the Canadians need because they are so caught up in cable news. I've said it for years, best thing to do for your brain is cut your cable. Do you think the negative narrative that you see in social media is the narrative of the bad guys? Yeah. Well, it's not so much the bad guy. They're the brainwashed that are trying to push their narrative. They're trying to push their agenda based on what they believe in. They're brainwashed. They don't see the pattern. A typical leftist mind is not a critical thinker. They do not have that in their vocabulary. Okay, they do not know how to read between the lines. They will take every word to fact. Okay, and that means when it goes, and so they can be lied to on social media, and they will think that is the gospel. They do not have critical thinking. That's the problem with this world today, is because there's so many people that have relied on the stupid boob tube. Okay, and the boob tube took wind of that. That was the thing that the Germans designed after the Second World War as a social program, and eventually got into an MK Ultra programming. And it's still, to this day, I cannot watch cable TV. I look to 30 seconds on that thing, I can see bullshit happening. The only thing that I enjoy are, like these, HBO series like Yellowstone and stuff like that. I kind of enjoy that stuff. Otherwise I'm looking at, I enjoy movies, right? there's always something in it, especially the sci-fi. But as far as the cable news and listening to CNN or anything like that, that's all should be cut. That's crimes against humanity. I heard from Ishmael that Melania is related to Putin, and you're exactly right. He is, and I get a lot of information from Ishmael. He's plugged in. He's not just plugged into, he's plugged into the Galactic Federation. Yeah, and that's why they're bringing out the comms now, and they're trying to, twist and turn and put spins on things and all kinds of stuff. We're just going to sit back and see how all this unfolds. This movie is not for us. This movie is for the sleepers they're trying to wake them up.